0, 1. Let's get started.
Welcome back to Casablanca Cargo. This is Kathy, and today we're going to alter a composition notebook. I'm starting a new series called Craft Fair, and this notebook will be used in taking my notes. Now, this is a 50-cent notebook that I recently purchased at Staples, and I'm going to use the Time Worn Textiles Park Lane brand of paper that I purchased at Joann Fabrics a little bit ago. I used that for my tapestry that you saw in previous videos. I'm going to use this to cover up the part there that says composition notebook. I tried to use these Deco edge trimmer scissors and boy, this one pair is just real stubborn, but I was more stubborn than the scissors, and I finally got it to cut out just to make a label on the front of the cover. Now I'm using a bit of the purple Elmer's glue stick here, school glue, and then a little bit of the tacky, Aleene's tacky glue on the edges. I didn't want the paper is very thin. It's almost like photocopy paper that was printed on. You know the thickness. And I didn't want it to warp too much here on the cover, so this is why I came up with to try to prevent that. And then on the back of the cover is another little spot there with their, information and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to use the same paper, same technique, and cover that up. Okay, so this composition notebook is wide ruled. You can also get it college ruled, but it has 100 sheets. So I'm going to go in and glue every 2 sheets together. So first you pull one page aside, put that one onto the left, put the purple glue stick onto the facing page towards you, and then fold over the loose page. Now I really like this purple glue because I can see exactly where I put the glue, and I don't know, this glue stick was so smooth. I don't know, I think that's important. Here I am trying to make sure I didn't glue I didn't glue 3 pages together, the wrong ones. But it was like a crayon almost. I don't know how to explain it, like a wax crayon. It just went on really smoothly. So even though this took a bit of time, it wasn't a struggle to get the glue down onto the paper. I'm not really concerned about getting it edge to edge because I'll show you in the next segment what I do when I get all my pages glued together. Okay, so I've got all my pages glued together. And I did miss, because I got distracted, I missed one page, so I decided to put some yellow notebook paper that I have onto that page. So it's doubled, and then I continued on, and then eventually I decide, well, I'll still have one single page left. So I chose then which page it was going to be further down in the notebook for another section, and I used the green notebook paper there that you can see on the edges, and just trim that away with scissors, so then I have an equal amount of doubled pages, if that makes sense. Did I explain that correctly? I hope so. But yeah, I mean, I'm not perfect. I don't think anybody's perfect, and we make mistakes, but we continue on, and don't have to start over or anything. Just keep going. So I'm using again the Time Worn Textiles paper. Here's some that I had left over, but I want to now make borders on all of my papers, all 50 pieces that are in there in the composition notebook. I'm going through the paper pad now and picking out the blues, not the greens, because I use the greens for leaf ephemera, to make leaf ephemera. So I'm taking the blues, kind of avoiding the reds at this point. And if there was 3 pieces, that means I hadn't used it in my previous project. So I would take it out, definitely take that out, not with the reds, but eventually I had to go back in and use the reds. But just, every three, and I love that floral. So, I wanted to put that in there. This is 8.5 by 11 size paper. This can be done with 12 by 12. I'm using the thinner scrapbook paper here because in place of washi tape, I think this is the next best idea at the moment, at least what I've come up with. It's not as thin as washi tape, but it bulks it up. It'll bulk up the journal a bit, but not too bad. And if you put the journal under something like a heavy book or something at night, it smushes it down so it's not so bulky when you go back into it. So there's my papers, and I'm using my trimmer here at 1.5 inches on the long side for the long side of the composition notebook. I do it at 1.5, and then I will fold it down on the edge there of the trimmer. Makes it easier just to fold that in half instead of scoring it and then trying to fold. And then once I get the long edge sliced off, then I go and slice off 2 sections on the smaller side for the top and the bottom of the composition notebook paper. Just sort of, push that up against there and then fold it up against the edge there. And, there we go. I don't have to worry about scoring and measuring and all that kind of stuff. And then it'll fit. It has a little bit of an overhang, and it'll fit on the edge. And I will cut that overhang off once I get the 2 sides glued, and then I do the edge, the long edge, and then I cut off the overhang. And here I'm just showing again, taking 1.5 on the trimmer. And again, I think I picked, I was trying to keep the colors away from the red. And and just fold it there down on the edge and then get ready to glue. For this part, I did use the Aleene's tacky glue. I want it to stick. I don't want them to come off. So at first I thought, well, I'll put do I put the long edge on first? No, I figured it out. Put the short pieces on first, then put the long piece on, and go through all the pages. So I put the glue on the strip and then tried to get it as close or right next to or right on the paper to glue it down. Once it's glued, it doesn't want to come up. So, I have to be a little bit more careful putting the strips down, because the composition notebook paper is, it's notebook paper. It's not art paper or anything like that, or scrapbook paper. There, it got sticky a little bit. So I've got my top on. Oh, that didn't sound good. And I'm going to put the bottom strip on and try to get it close to the edge, the inside edge of the paper. That does cause the papers to gator. So if you don't want that to happen, just move your strip a little bit further away from the edge of the inside edge where it's sewn together, where the signature is. And now I'm going to put the top on, or the top on. It's like I'm putting the side on, the long edge. And putting it as close or as try to get right on that edge. And just, smoosh it down. That's a technical term. All right, and wipe off the excess, and there we are. Now, I'm not going to lie, it was tedious to cut the strips, and it was tedious to glue them down, and it did take me several days to get all the pages covered. I'm a bit slow when it comes to crafting, but eventually I did get it done, and here's what it looks like. Okay, this is a few days later, but I just wanted to show you what it looks like when all the pages are covered. It's kind of wider now, isn't it? Here's the way it started. This is what it started as. It's flat. And every night I worked on this, I put it under something heavy so that it would not gape all the way open, but it's still substantial. So now you have a substantial journal, composition notebook, and so each page now has, this is my bookmark. I have a short about that. So every page now, it's doubled. It feels very substantial. Now this here, I was distracted, and so I missed doubling a page. So I just put some yellow notebook paper that I had in for that. So this will be a section, and I'll do a tab. And then because I knew I was going to have another lone sheet. So back here, I put in a green piece of paper, and this is another section. And yeah, so this will be my notebook for my craft fair ideas, what I'm making, what I'm taking, what I'm selling things for, price list. When I sell things, I'm going to try and keep them listed in here, probably in the back. I'll make a section for that. But yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, I love that sound. And I'm going to make a writing board as well, to make it easier to write, because it's still kind of have a more solid surface, because now with the pages doubled, it's sort of it's not as you know what I mean, like it's cushy now. So there we go, and there's my bookmark. All right, I will see you soon. Thanks for joining me. Bye for now.